use on your phone for your GoPro. And then since that presentation, they've come out with the new full digital HD. That's 5K video. This is the Hero 9 I'm talking about. 20 megapixel pictures, which is more than my 7D. It's got dual screens on it now, the LCD screens, which are awesome, and I'll explain why that is in a little bit for myself especially. They've come up with some hyper smooth image stabilization. I'm gonna throw some words out at you guys tonight, some new cool lingo to learn. It's got horizon leveling in it, which is pretty cool. So they've really worked a lot towards it being shaky. When you're holding the camera, you're walking, you're skiing, you're fishing, you're doing whatever you're taking pictures of. It's pretty bouncy whenever you move around. So a lot of people came out with these handheld gimbals, which kind of isolated that and stabilized it some. Well, GoPro's actually figured out a way to make the camera do that now, and it's pretty amazing. They also have super slow-mo, eight times slow motion. It's taking 240 frames per second and slowing it down. And the 9 is actually waterproof as is to 30 feet. Now, if you want to take it diving, you still have to buy an additional case, but they've gotten it down to where, you know, if you're going to be in a pool or just some snorkeling or stuff, you don't have to buy any additional cases anymore. So what is the GoPro craze all about? So the thing that happened with GoPro when GoPro came out is right around the same time YouTube exploded. And YouTube really paved the way for GoPro and their success, because people, it's kind of the start of all these selfies and shooting out cool videos of what you've been doing. So it's kind of about capturing and sharing your life experiences, what you're doing. It's engaging. This is a cute little dog. He's got his own little GoPro harness on. They got one for people and kids. It's immersive. You can take a picture of a wide shot of what you're doing and show people where you're at and what's going on, the cool places you're seeing, the fun things you're doing. And then it takes your audience for a ride. A lot of people think this camera is only for action sports, because that's a lot of what we see. It's an amazing camera for that. But it can also be used, like you see, just a quiet, calm kayak ride or fun with your dog. Some people tie these things to a stick and throw fetch with their dogs and take videos of their dogs with the stick in their mouth. It's hysterical. They're tough cameras, and they can take a pretty good beating, and they have to be able to handle all these kind of different situations. So what are some of the cool new features? Like I said, I don't have the new camera, and so I had to educate myself on it, and there has been a lot that has changed in the last 4 or 5 years. The megapixels from mine to the new one is 12 to 20 megapixels. They've got it up to 5K video now, which is huge. The new camera has a removable lens on it, which is a great thing, because a lot of these other cameras, there's filters and add-ons that you can buy, but now you can actually just quarter turn the lens and the lens pops off, and you can put any other kind of lens on it. There's going to be a ton of aftermarket things that'll come out, macros. They've already got all kinds of filters that fit on these cameras. They're ND filters or scuba diving red colored filters for the water. The other big thing is the stabilization is just insane. There's some, I don't know if the videos are going to work or not, but there's videos where people are actually running or bouncing around, and they've taken an old camera and they put it on a mount side by side with the new one, and the thing is shaking all over the place, but the one on the side that's the new cameras is just smooth, as if you were walking as smooth as you could. So it's pretty amazing what they've come along with. The new cameras also have some new power tools. It's what GoPro's words for it are. There's one called Hindsight, Live Burst. You can actually schedule your camera to capture instead of having to be there. You can set a timer on it to come on later. And then you can also tell it how long you want it to capture your pictures. Again, the waterproof housings, but they still need protection for over 33 feet. The dual LCD screens, they're touch screen with touchscreen controls. The Max camera we're going to talk about has 2 lenses, one on the front and one on the back, which creates a 360-degree video and pictures. They've come up with horizon leveling and linear field of view adjustments. So the GoPro, if you've seen videos and pictures of it, once you get so wide with the lens, it creates this fisheye kind of look. And so they've actually got a new setting in there for linear, and it actually straightens some of that out. So it's not so fisheye looking as some of the versions out now. I have a new thing called time warp video, which is, it's a time lapse, but it's through video, and you can speed it up. You can be taking it at a high speed. You can touch the camera. It slows it back down to real time for you can take a 1 or 2 second video of something you're passing, and then you hit the button and it speeds it back up again. It's pretty neat looking. So I hope some of the videos that we have work so you guys can see some of that. And voice control, what? And so my first thought was, I hope it's not related to Alexa, because everything seems to be Alexa, and it's not. It's strictly a GoPro thing. It's got about 14 commands on the Hero 9. You can tell it to take a picture. If it's on, you can say GoPro change to video, GoPro change to photo, GoPro take a photo, GoPro start a video, which is kind of cool if you're out doing stuff. You don't have to always be trying to figure out what the buttons are or function, especially like skiing with gloves or wet hands and you're fishing and whatnot. You can just tell it to change to whatever you're trying to do. And that's just a few things. That's not even everything. There's a ton of stuff that's new on these cameras. So one of the things that came out before the Max came out, this is my camera, this is the Hero 4. They called this the Omni. This was a rig that somebody came up with to try to figure out how to take 360-degree photos and videos. So you had to be rich and be able to afford 6 of these cameras, plus this rig. And you set it on a pole and you go out and you walk around and it's pretty cool. It's like you're in a spherical bubble. And some of the videos I wanted to show you, you're actually able to, while the video is playing, you can actually get in kind of like a VR video and move your finger on the screen and it turns the picture all the way around. So it's like a 3D picture, but it's also a 3D video. So you can control what you're looking at in the video itself, which is really pretty cool. All right, so Chuck, let's see if that, I'm gonna skip those first 2 because I don't know that they're gonna work. Let's try that number 3, the GoPro Max video.
No, number 3, all right. Let me, you'll have to unshare, then I'll share, okay?
Okay. Okay. Hopefully these will work and they won't be jumpy.
We can only do what we can do, right?
Yep.
So we'll, you see that okay?
Did you share it? It's not sharing it, Chuck.
We see your desktop. We're here together, desktop.
All right. Hold on. Let's see, it was supposed to be sharing it, but it didn't.
I think you have to hit, hit share and then go to it, start it.
Yeah, let me go it again here. Okay, desktop 2. Okay. Can you at least see my screen here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's reset this thing.
So is that smooth or pretty jumpy for everybody?
Not bad.
Pretty jumpy.
Yeah. So what you don't get to see,
I hate it.
Second, stop. Okay.
you kind of miss out on trying to see like the hyper smooth and some of the stuff that it can do. But so we'll just keep going. Chuck, give me control back, and what I'll do is I'll just go through the.
Yeah, we had problems earlier. I don't know what's happening right now, but they are jumpy.
It's kind of weird.
They're smooth on my side. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah. All right. So that was, I was hoping that'd be smoother since that's an actual GoPro produced video. But anyways, so this camera is called the GoPro Max. So this came out, I think like a year and a half ago. It has two lenses. It's got one on each side of the camera. And what that actually creates is an entire 360-degree view. There are people that you can create spherical pictures with it. If you hold the GoPro stick directly underneath the camera, it goes away. So I had been seeing people with these videos and I could not figure out how they were holding the camera and what was going on. In one of the videos I wanted to show, they're all going to be bumpy, is a guy explaining how that works. Because of the view of the camera, it can't see right directly below it. So as long as you hold that stick right below it, it looks like the camera is actually just kind of floating out there. So it really creates a cool 360-degree effect. Whether it's action sports or like just even taking a hike in the woods, it comes up with some pretty creative videos, and then you can pull some pretty cool pictures out of them as well. So this camera, you can shoot one-sided in the front side with the single lens. Anytime GoPro talks about like the single lens, they call it a hero. The dual lens is the 360. So you're shooting front and back simultaneously. This camera also has 6 built-in microphones, so it gets a complete surround sound and video. The mics have some wind reduction in them, and they work with stereo sound. They came out with a thing called Max Hypersmooth Video Stabilization. Again, you're not gonna be able to see it because the videos are jumpy, but we'll send out a list of some videos. If you're interested in these cameras, they're really some great things that they've done with this. You can basically throw a gimbal away. You don't even need it anymore. You can run around, jog, ride your bike, whatever, and the video is super smooth. Their field of view lenses, they've gone to calling them digital lenses, but they're really talking about the field of view. So there's a narrow field, the distortion-free linear, which gets rid of the fisheye, the wide view, and the max super view. These go, let's see, where's my notes here? These go from like the wide, if you want to talk about like a camera lens, is a 16 to 34 millimeter. The linear is like a 19 to 39 millimeter camera lens. The narrow crops it down into 27 millimeters. And then like the super view goes out to a 16 millimeter field of view lens on your camera. But it takes it in an aspect ratio of 4:3. And then what they do is they take that and they blow that up into a widescreen shot. So it really makes it look really big and wide. Again, they have the horizon leveling in these cameras. They have what they call the max time warp, which is just like a super fast, if you think of like a super fast time lapse, and it's got some pretty cool looking stuff. The camera itself does an actual 360-degree script stitching is what they call it between the two camera lenses. The older version of this, you had to download it and then do it in another program to stitch it together. The camera does it itself. So as soon as you download whatever you've taken out of the camera, it's already stitched together in the 360-degree view. It's got touchscreen control, which I love, and I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. These cameras can do 1080p live streaming now, kind of like everybody does with their phones on Facebook and stuff. You can do that right out of the GoPro camera. And this camera has voice control as well. It's got a 270-degree panoramic picture. It can do 2x slow motion. It's ProTune capable, which means you have your own controls, kind of like our DSLR cameras with the white balance. You can set your ISO, you can set your exposure, white balance. You can set all these things in ProTune. If you don't want to use the automatic settings, you have the capability to go in and make your own changes, just like on our large cameras. This one's only waterproof to 16 feet. And again, it can be controlled and you work on it on your phone through Wi-Fi, it's Bluetooth, and then it also is GPS enabled. Again, it takes a 360, they call them spherical photos. You can pan around in them. It's an 18 megapixel source, and when they stitch them all together, it comes out as a 16.6 megapixel picture. The Hero Photo, which is just the one side of the camera, it's not the dual lenses, is only a 5.5 megapixel, and it can use the max super view lens and the wide lens. The panoramic, again, is a 270 degree, and it's 6.2 megapixels, only 6.2 megapixels. It's got the 360 degree time-lapse photos as well. The sources of that is either 6K or 3K. There's two different settings. And you can do a time-lapse, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute intervals. And then the Hero time-lapse, again, is going back to talking about a single lens. So you get the max super view or wide view, and you can do a half, 1, 2, and on up to like 60-minute intervals for time lapses. The videos that this thing takes, again, it's 6K and at 30 frames per second or 24 frames per second. If you're only going to do 3K, you can do it at 60 or 50 frames per second. The one-sided video is the aspect ratio is 16:9, so the wider screen at 1080p, and then the 4:3, which is more vertical, at 1440. And again, it can go through all these different settings of wide, super view, linear, narrow, and the different frame settings. So the intent is, depending on, are you going to do slow-mo, are you going to send this out to people, or are you going to put it on live stream? You have to decide, just like with our bigger cameras, kind of like what speed and size.
Jill, what's the dimensions of that?
Of what?
Of the Max, that GoPro Max. I mean,
like you talking about the size in your hand?
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger than your camera. It's going to be taller than your camera. It's about the same width, but a little bit taller. Not quite twice as tall, but almost.
As what? As a regular camera, or
as a GoPro? As a regular GoPro.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like if you were to stack two cameras, two of my little GoPro cameras on top of each other. It's about that size, maybe a little smaller. They're pretty amazing for as small as they are. They pack a lot into them. Again, 360 time-lapse video and the Hero time-lapse videos. And so this new term that I hadn't seen is time warp, and this is GoPro's little logo. I didn't put that in there. Again, 6K source, and it spits out a 5.6K stitched spherical warped video image. You can play it at 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, 15, or 30 times the speed of what you actually shot it. So that's why they call it time warp, because you can actually play it back at 30 times the speed. So it's kind of cool looking. And then the Hero time warp, same thing, only at 1080p and 1440. You don't get as big of a resolution. All right, the second camera I'm going to talk about, Chuck, I'm just going to forgo the videos, I think.
Oh, okay.
So the other camera that GoPro just came out with that I'm pretty excited about too. I like the idea of the 360. If you could have both of these cameras, that'd be awesome. Oops, that's my camera coming on. So the Hero Black came out, and just within the last few months. And it's actually jumped up to 20 megapixel photos, 5K video, and the processor in this thing is actually 23.6 megapixel sensor in this tiny little camera. It's not much bigger than the Hero 4. They've also now got front and back LCD live screens. And then the rear screen is a touch screen for all the camera settings. It has presets and on-screen shortcuts too. And they've upped the HyperSmooth stabilization. It's now HyperSmooth 3, but they've upped the stabilization again. And then the horizontal leveling, in certain modes, it's up to, you can turn the camera a full 45 degrees either way, clockwise, counterclockwise. And some of the videos I wanted to show you, there's testing, and you can take this camera out and do that. And the picture is still straight, and it just kind of blows my mind that they can figure out how to make a camera do that. What they do is they take they crop out some of the picture and some of the edge. I don't quite understand how it works, but what they say is that they're using some of the edges of the pictures to try to reset the picture and make it hold still, even though you're walking along, jumping around, or turning the camera. And in one of the modes, the super wide one, you can actually turn the camera around 360 degrees and the picture stays straight up. So some of the videos, we'll get you a list out and go take a look at them. It's pretty neat how they did that. And this one again has time warp video capabilities. These power tools we'll talk about in a few minutes. Hindsight, live burst, scheduled capture, and duration capture. So hindsight, basically it's like a looping tool. The video is going to loop for, you know, maybe 30 minutes or whatever you set it to. And what happens is, let's say you're watching your kid play basketball, but you don't ever know if he's ever going to make a shot. So you're just kind of holding your camera there. Well, let's say he makes the shot. Well, if you start push record on your camera, it actually backs up to the previous 30 seconds. So even though you would normally have missed a shot with a camera, the GoPro is actually pre-recording stuff. So once you hit that button, it backs up 30 seconds, it gets what you missed, and then it'll keep recording until you tell it to stop. So they call that hindsight. Live burst is just like what it says. You're taking a live burst shot. You take a picture and it takes 1.5 seconds before and 1.5 seconds after the picture you intended to take, which allows you to pick a better one if something changed either before or after you took the picture that would have made a better shot. So you can pick out of which one you want to keep. Again, the scheduled capture is pretty cool. You can tell your camera when to start capturing. This would be great for night time lapses. If you don't want to have to stay up all night with your camera, you tell it when to start, you tell it when to end, you tell it how long to last with the duration capture. Again, it has a super view, wide, linear, horizontal leveling, and linear and narrow fields of view. It's got this new super photo, which is an improved HDR correction in the camera it can do on its own. It does nighttime lapse video. They now have RAW available. So those people that like Lightroom, you can actually take images out of this camera and put them right into Lightroom and work on them now. Again, this camera has voice control. This one has super slow motion, so you can slow your speed down 8 times, which is really pretty amazing. Again, the Pro Tune, where you can do your own settings. They finally come out with this where you can turn the camera into portrait mode and it actually keeps it. So kind of like we use our phones, mostly in portrait mode. A lot of times if you're gonna put something out there on social media or something, now you can turn the GoPro's portrait, it'll turn it and take a portrait video or picture. They didn't used to do that. It's got 100 megabits per second of recording for videos, pretty huge. It's got data overlays on it, which will give you, if you turn the GPS on, it'll put a location, an altitude, a speed. I think they even said like G-forces, it'll put that information right on the picture. They now have a photo timer like our cameras do, where you can turn that on to take pictures. And this one, again, has the removable lens, which is pretty cool. And not only are you going to be able to add different kind of lenses to it, but also now if the lens breaks, cracks, scratches, it's on the Max, it's only like a $20 replacement. I couldn't find a price on this one yet, but it really helps out. These cameras are a lot more durable than they used to be, and they're a lot tougher, and the glass is a lot tougher, but it's pretty cool that you're able to remove a lens and fix it or change it out and use some other kind of filter or lens on them. Well, there's my note to add a slide. This one has 3 built-in microphones, and they've put a water drain actually on this camera. So as soon as you pop up out of the water, it drains out and the microphone's working without you losing any sound. They still have the mic jack and the USB-C port. It's waterproof to 33 feet, and you can do 1080 live streaming, and it has a webcam mode. So if I had one of these, I could have been trying it out and using it as a webcam tonight. Again, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and it's GPS enabled. So the things that I got excited about, the 360, and then this is a big deal for me, especially now that I'm getting older, and you can see I'm wearing glasses now. The left side of your screen, the old kind of the grayish in the Hero 4 picture, the screen is very small. And as I've gotten to wear glasses, I have a hard time seeing that and trying to set it up. And you certainly cannot see it when it gets dark. It's not backlit. So you have to carry a flashlight around. I was in Carlsbad Caverns recently and got really frustrated because I didn't bring a flashlight. I was trying to use my phone and it was just really irritating to me. Frustrating to have to be wearing glasses and trying to do all that. So I'm excited that now they've gone to the LCD screens and their touch control. You'll be able to see in any kind of light. You're not having to punch 2 or 3 different buttons to go through the modes and the different screens to set up your camera. It's super quick. It's very visible day or night. So I'm really excited about that. So again, this takes 20 megapixel photos. It's got improved HDR in it. The live burst is 8 megapixels and 12 megapixel output, just a regular burst. You can do it at 30 frames for 10 seconds, 30 frames, 6 seconds. So it'll take a lot of pictures in a short amount of time. It takes, again, night photos. You can set up for how long you want the delay. And then while you're setting that up, you can set up the type of exposure you want as well, similar to the DSLR cameras. It has a time lapse and night lapse photos. Again, setting up for time intervals and however you want to take it. And you just set it up and leave the camera and it'll take care of itself all night long. And with that, these batteries won't last all night long. And so with the USB port, you can plug it into an outlet, or you can take a battery backup and you can just leave a larger battery backup plugged into it, which is what I've done a few times out at our farm because there's not a plug around. The video, again, it's huge. It's 5K, it's 16:9 aspect ratio at 24 30 frames per second for all the different point of view lenses. It also shoots 4K at 16:9 and 4:3. It's going to do 2.7K. So my camera does only up to 4K, and then the 2.7 and comes back down like this one does as well. As you go down, you gain frames per second. So now we're at 60 to 120 frames per second. And we get all the way down into 1080, and it goes up to 240 frames per second. So this is where they are able to accomplish the super slow-mo. They take 240 frames per second, and then you just totally slow those down. And so you get the 8 times slow-mo. The videos, they also do looping videos where you can just continuously loop and rewrite over things. And then the time lapse and light lapse, instead of being photos, they do small interval videos, and then you can put those together as well. And again, this camera also has the time warp. It's time warp 3.0. So at 4K, you can get a time warp at 4K, 2.7K, 1440, and 1080. And then again, it can go from 2 times the speed all the way up to 30 times the speed. So super fast. All right. So when you buy these cameras, it's kind of daunting because there's so many little gadgets and parts and pieces you can buy for these things. And what GoPro sets you up within the box is kind of pretty basic starter stuff. So on each of these cameras, you're going to get the camera, you're going to get a thumb screw. The thumb screw is what you use to mount the camera to whatever the other accessory is. I have a ton of these. You lose them, you just end up, they're like just little things you have to keep around all the time. You get 1 battery, so extra batteries are usually something good to buy. You get your USB cable, and then they give you a couple of little mounts. One's a stick-on mount, and one's another one that'll work with some other clip-on mounts. And then for the 9, they've actually also included a nice little zip-up soft-sided case to go with the camera. So GoPro now is calling their add-ons, the ones that they produce and sell, they're calling mods. The one on the left is the Max Lens mod. This is their biggest, widest view lens. I tried to find a picture of a camera that somebody had the lens off of. Whoever's camera this is, it's incredibly dirty, but you get the idea. It has the ring on it similar to our DSLR cameras. It still remains waterproof. It's just a 1/4 turn to take the lens off and a 1/4 turn to put a new one on. They have a media mod. You can see the bottom picture looks like an open frame, which is what it is. Your camera slides into that and plugs in, and then you can you have the directional mic. You can put the windbreaker on top of the mic, and then you've got an even better microphone than what's already built into these cameras. They've really tried to go from action to all the people that are doing vlogging and online videos and that type of stuff. So they've added these light mods. So this package with the microphone fits in. It's got a bunch of hot shoes all over it. It's got 1 on the side and 2 on the top. So in this light mod, which is basically you're just buying a light for the camera, an extra LED light, you can put it on the top or the side. And then the display mod is a flip up display. So if you're videoing yourself for something that you're gonna produce or put online about a story or whatever you're doing, then it's a larger screen for you to watch and see yourself and see that you're getting the right view for what you're trying to capture. So it's an added extra video screen basically to sit on top of the camera and faces the same direction as the lens is facing. So again, these cameras they work really well with our phones and the GoPro app. You can download stuff immediately. There were some really cool videos I wanted to show you guys about you can actually control the 360 video. You put it on your phone and you can actually do an editing process where you hold your phone up, and wherever you turn and look with your phone, that's how the video turns and changes, and it actually edits the video based on how you're flowing through the video based on the direction you're moving your phone and looking through your phone. It's pretty neat stuff. And then just also, you just take your pictures right off your phone. You can post them to Facebook. You can email them out. You can edit them on your phone. And then also you can take them back and you can edit stuff online. There's all kinds of different programs. This was just a list I found that's the best editing rundown for 2020. It's got Adobe Premiere on it. Like I said, because of the raw photo footage, you can also take these photos out and work on them in Lightroom. This is a picture I used before. This guy is Mick Bergsma. He used to be around Austin. I think he's living in Hawaii now. So that was like 5 years of his accessories. So you bought a GoPro. So what else do you need to get started in using it? So we're gonna talk about real quick some accessories and mounts, what to buy, some cool stuff, and some DIY accessories and mounts. So if anything you can think of to attach a GoPro to or try to take a picture of, it's out there. If it's not out there, there's videos on how to make it. So the accessories, things you need to think about getting, like some extra batteries. I always have 2 extra batteries, and it's a dual battery charger. Some extra cables. I have a bigger carrying case that holds more stuff. Some lens covers. Housing, if you're going diving, it's better to buy the stuff now while it's new, because as your cameras get older, it's harder to find the original manufacturer's equipment, so you can be assured that your camera will stay waterproof. My camera runs on a remote. The new ones don't. You can use your phone as the remote. The filters, they have some really cool ND filters, and like I said, they have the red colored filters for when you're diving. There's different kind of extended poles and floats. These cameras do not float. They're waterproof, but they do not float. So if you ever take them in the water, you need some kind of flotation on them or a tether so that you don't lose them, because they will sink. And again, the thumb screws, you're always, everything you can attach these to, it uses a thumb screw to hold on to it. So mounts. So when we mount the camera, we're typically determined by the activity you want to do. They have like body mounts. They have, you can wear it on your hat. You can wear it. I have one on my snowboard helmet. They have a chest strap, so you can wear it right in the middle of your chest, and the point of view is what you're doing out in front of you for like biking or hiking. People put them on their legs. You can see people that are skydiving will put them around their ankles. People put them on, I have one that puts on my backpack shoulder strap, so it kind of shoots out in front of me from my shoulder. Things when we don't want them on our bodies, again, like they have these adhesive ones that stick to your helmet. They have a tripod mount, so any tripod you have, you take this little tiny mount and it screws right on top and it adapts your GoPro right to it. Roll bars, suction cups, magnets, jaw clamps, handheld stabilizers. They have all kinds of stuff. They got specialized surfboard mounts. They got one you can put in your mouth. Believe it or not, the surfing guys wear them. They hold it in their mouth. Again, for the dogs and the kids and all kinds of stuff. So whatever you think you want to try to mount one to, there's something out there. One of the first things you need to buy when you get a camera, you need to get an SD card. It doesn't come with one. You can get a really high capacity card in these cameras and it'll take a ton of pictures. Tripod mount, some extra ones. Maybe you want a little bit bigger carrying case and one comes with it. These new LCDs now come with the lens protectors similar to our phones and tablets and stuff. And then also this how-to book, this guy has written one for several years now. It's on Amazon. It's pretty good information. It's easy to read. I used it a lot when I was learning how to do night lapse photos. So it explains things really well, and it's a step-by-step on how to do the different settings in your camera. Again, some other things to buy first, like I talked about, is the poles, and then the orange is the new float for the new camera, and the yellow is like a floating pole. The extra batteries in the charger, they have a dual battery charger. That's 2 batteries in there. They're lithium batteries, so they're pretty good batteries. Small flexible tripod. I've used this like trying to take a picture in Carlsbad Caverns. I wrapped it around the handrail so it would hold the camera up to try to take pictures of the caverns. The chesty harness, and then again, just showing the different filters, the dive filters there on the left for scuba diving and snorkeling, and then the ones on the right are the ND filters for when you want to get that nice flow in motion, like you're taking waterfalls or river pictures or something. These are some other cool things. So the GoPro still, all these different ones will still work with different kind of drones, different gimbals, kind of the little tray stabilizers on the left bottom there. Those are like for diving and snorkeling. The one with the big light on it's for like filming stuff if you're going to produce and put it out there. The big dome thing is really cool. That's for underwater when you see these cool shots where people have got like a picture that's half above water, half underwater. You have to have that air pocket in there for those pictures to work. And then these are just some DIY ones that I found online when I was trying to look at stuff. I actually made the one that's the PVC pipe one with the wheels on it. I made one just like that. It's pretty easy. I had some old roller blades. I made them out of them. So you don't have to buy expensive stuff. You can kind of make your own. Those 2 on the right, they spin around. One spins around one axis and the other one does a pan and tilt as it spins around. So doing some time lapses and trying to come up with some creative ways to get movement in your picture while you're filming a time lapse. Some additional resources, anything you want to know, GoPro.com. This guy, Mitch Bergsman, I started watching a lot of his videos when I was trying to learn stuff. He's a pretty cool dude. He's hearing impaired. He's a deaf guy, but he's really good how to explain stuff. And like I said, he always gives you examples and shows you how to set up your cameras and shows you the side-by-side test. So it's a lot of really good information on all the different cameras, not just a single one, but each time one comes out, he'll go through all the new stuff and what's changed. And again, the books are always great reference as well. And that's it. I had a bunch of cool videos, but I think it's going to be more frustrating for people to see a bunch of jumpy videos, but we'll send the list out. And check some stuff out. The stuff that GoPro is coming up with, the stabilization is just amazing. And the fact that now these are like touchscreen and live view, so they're a lot more easier to use. They're a lot more user friendly as far as setting up all the different menus and settings you can get. It's faster. And the waterproof housing, it's a tougher housing. So it's waterproof, but also you talk about dirt and dust proof. These things can really take a beating. And they're just amazing for as small as they are. There's a giant battery that goes in these that you don't see. In the SD card, it's a mini SD card. That all goes inside this camera behind this lens. And so it's just floors me how much they can pack into this little camera when we talk about carrying around our big DSLRs and what our DSLRs are putting out. Yeah.
How much are these cameras costing you?
So I think that my Hero 4, so I actually got a gift card through work and I already knew what I was going to spend it on. So I spent it on my GoPro. So I didn't have to pay as much for that. But right now, I think they're running $399. GoPro is actually running a special. They have a new thing where they have cloud storage and they're giving discounts on it if you join that. It's like $5 a month. So it's a pretty good thing to join and get the discount on the camera. And the other thing they're doing is if you ever break your camera somehow, they'll actually replace it for free. And then the other thing they do is they give you 50% off of any of the accessories they sell. So they've got some pretty good, their Black Friday deals are out right now.
I put a link up on the chat for Amazon.
Yeah. And but look at GoPro.com. Their prices, I don't think Amazon matches their prices. I think if you check out the deal on GoPro on their website, it's a better deal.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be more.
Well, the max can be up to like $499, but I think they have it for $100 off.
Yeah. I remember you got to buy a lot of accessories, or you don't have to, but you'd want to.
No, but some of the accessories that you have can be from the old GoPro should still be able to use with the new GoPro. It's just the filters and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
let's see, let me stop sharing here and I can show you some stuff. All right. So like I was talking about the thumb screws that fit everything, all the mounts. These are all still good. I've got, I have a bunch of GoPro mounts. They're all still good because it's the same. They have kept the same fort configuration where they slot into these fins here. On the new cameras, the fins don't stick out like this case. These fins stick out the bottom here. On the new cameras, they actually fold flat into the base of the camera. So when you look at the camera, you don't see this, it's flat because they made them where they fold up now. And so it's the exact same mount, it's just hidden where you can't see it on the new cameras. And so any of the accessories you buy are still gonna work. I've got the little GorillaPod, and this is just, and these aren't expensive. You buy these little ones like these. So this is a tripod mount. It'll fit in any tripod. I have 2 or 3 of these. And so you don't need to carry any kind of specialized tripod. Now I have a couple just because like, this is the GoPro one I got one time with a package, and it's, it bends and flexes, and it has a cool little, it's not just like a stick, it has a little cool tripod that comes out of the bottom of it. It's gonna be a little bitty tiny tripod that's inside the handle. So that's kind of cool. There are some cool gadgets that GoPro has. But some of the things I found was most helpful is just to get online and see what people are making. I made a magnet one. This is just a cheap magnet. And you take the screw out and you put your own, again, this is a tripod mount. Using a handle that you got at Lowe's. It goes onto some other piece of equipment and you just put a screw in it. I ended up buying, I bought like a whole box of screws that are the right thread size for any of the mounts. And then you can just start making your own stuff. The magnet is handy because it sticks, on anything. You throw it on a car, I throw it on the tractor at the farm. It's kind of fun. You can stick it anywhere on your bike if you have a steel frame bike. You can buy these cheap clamps like these at the store. And you just put a bolt through it in the handle. I don't know how well you guys can see this.
Yeah.
You put a bolt through it. And now I can put my tripod mount right on top of this, like this. And I got a mount that I can clip to anything now. A couple bucks.
Yeah, but you can't have arthritic hands with that.
Well, it's good practice. See, it's a hand strengthening exercise while you're driving to wherever you're gonna go to pictures.
I'm just
Now,
talking.
what was that red cap on your underwater case?
On this case, it's just a little silicone protector cap.
Protective cap.
Yeah.
I didn't get one of them.
So
I like it, but it doesn't prevent the power from coming on because it's so soft. If I'm not careful about how I pack this, stuff will still push the little power button on. But I like it that it's not hard and scratchy like the hard plastic ones that you see out there too. So it's kind of
Did that come with your case or?
It did not. I bought it separate.
Oh.
It was only like $4 or $5, I think.
Oh.
But for us to have these, you have to do a lot of different things. In cold weather, I have to put special little pads in here that absorb the humidity. You have to, if you want to hear the sound really well, this box is enclosed, so you don't get as good audio recording. So the new ones with the waterproof housing built in, the mics are waterproof, and so the sound quality is a lot better on all the new cameras as well.
With Mike doing the scuba in Kauai, we could actually hear the whales.
Yes. There was a video I was going to show you guys of fishing, snapper fishing. It was one that I did, and I think I showed it even last time, but we stuck the camera in the water. And what we're trying to do is get a video of the fish on the line as we were reeling the fish in. Well, I didn't realize till I got home later that you could hear the dolphin, and you can actually see the dolphin. He's watching the fish as we're reeling the fish up, and same thing, you can hear it. It's amazing the sound that they do pick up.
So when you say $4.99, is that the new one? Is $4.99?
So the mod is actually more expensive than the 9. The mod, I mean the max, not the mod. The max, because it has the 2 lenses on it. I have GoPro's website up. Hang on, I'll tell you what they are real quick. So right now GoPro has the max, which is the 360-degree view videos and pictures for $3.99. It's regular $4.99, but it includes a 1-year subscription to GoPro. So you get unlimited cloud storage, total camera replacement, and 50% off of their accessories at GoPro.com. And that one comes with the case and a 64 gig SD card.
Mm-hmm.
And then the black, I think, is $2.99. They have a $200 savings bundle. It's $349 for the black. In the year subscription, it comes with a swivel clip, a floating hand grip, and a spare battery. So it's a pretty good deal to get the spare battery. Again, that's as long as you do their 1-year subscription, but the subscription is only $5 a month for all the cloud storage you would ever need with them. Their app is free that runs their cameras. It's a free download to your phone. They used to have some editing software, but they stopped supporting that. So now you have to go out and use some of the different video and photo editing software.
This has been really, really interesting.
Well, it would have been way more fun for everybody if I could show you the videos, because the videos are what kind of, I mean, the music's kind of obnoxious, but it kind of gets you wound up about kind of just some really cool stuff.
There is. Now, do you find that you use this more than a DSLR or your phone, or it just depends on what you have?
Honestly, if it's day to day in the last few years, just because of my son, I'm actually taking way more with my phone just because I have it with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going out to take pictures of something I want to take pictures of, I'm going to take my camera. But like we went to Colorado recently, and I carried the GoPro and my DSLR, and I took different pictures at different times. I like my GoPro that I can set it up on a 1-second time interval where it takes a picture every second while you're walking, or if I want to set it down somewhere and, you know, we can be walking around, or we can go, you know, stand over there like we're taking our own picture like you would with a timer with your DSLR.
Mm-hmm.
I like it for that. I like it for really wide shots. When I went to Italy, I carried this and a DSLR too, and I was able to hold my camera. I would stand in like the Vatican and other places. I got pictures of the Sistine Chapel roof because I stood there with my camera like this, and it got the whole thing. I mean, it's
right.
just,
They didn't catch you for the film.
yeah, because I just kind of stood there like this.
Right.
And but for it takes really good low light pictures as long as you hold really still.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes, like I said, the churches and the you know, like the Colosseum, everything's so big over there, it's hard to get a picture. The Pantheon, I got some really great shots of the Pantheon just because it is such a super wide view.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is kind of fisheye, but with the new cameras with the linear adjustment, I think those would be even better pictures because you wouldn't get that curvature around the outside of the picture as much. But it's a fun camera when I think about taking it. It's been a long time since I took a lot of pictures with it. I don't tend to just do it around the house, although I should, like, you know, going to East End Park. I think it would be fun just to start doing some fun stuff with my son, put it on him, or, you know, just take a time lapse while you're walking down the boardwalks and then come back and do some editing and create some cool little, you know, videos and stuff instead of just always pulling the phone out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you zoom in and out with it or not?
You can. And that's kind of one of the advantages they talk about with the new cameras with the 20 megapixels is you've got so much that you can zoom in and get really great detail on a picture even when you zoom in on it.
So you're talking about cropping in post-processing, not actually zooming.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm glad you said that because that is exactly what I mean, but that also brings up another point. On the Hero 9, it actually has on the touchscreen the controls in the back. If you're taking a picture, they actually do have zoom on it now, which is great. They do. That's new as well. That's great.
Is it digital zoom then? Or?
It is. You know, you can change all the field of view, you know, from narrow and on out to super view. But then while you have that, apparently now too on the back on the touchscreen is you can touch it, and I think it's like a little sliding bar. And so you can just run your finger up and down and it'll zoom in and out for what you're doing. The LCD gives you that live view now where with, you know, with my camera, I have to kind of guess, am I framing it right? Especially if I've got it faced towards me or behind me, like hiking, I might put it on my stick behind me in my backpack. And I'm always got pictures of me looking at it because I'm not real sure where it's pointing. But that's where your phone will come in handy for these older cameras, because you can do a live view on your phone of what the camera is seeing. Whereas the new ones, it's just the LCD that's right there. These older phones, you could buy what they called an LCD backpack. I think it was like an extra $100. It snapped right onto the back, and then it was an LCD screen. It didn't control it, but it gave you the view. But it was a real battery eater too, and it made it, thicker, heavier camera. Not that these are heavy cameras by any means, but it made it more.
Are the new cameras a different battery than the old camera?
I think they're just a better version. They're still a lithium battery. They're still pretty much the same shape. They still have a door that goes inside. The one on the new camera they say it's a 30% longer battery life, but that's because the battery's about 30% bigger.
Okay.
But in relationship to the camera, I mean, you can see it takes up a pretty good bulk of inside the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one, the older cameras, goes in the bottom. On the new cameras, it goes in the side.
The side. All right.
But it's the same idea. It's got the notch in it. It's got the little tab on it so you can pull it back out.
Mm-hmm.
I have two of this, and then I have this one. The other thing that this camera has is you can, aside from the LCD backpack, it also had a battery backpack, so you can snap an extra bigger battery on top of here. So I can get pretty good battery life out of this. I can take this big giant battery and I can snap it on the back of my camera. The new ones don't have that. There, it's snapped on, so now it's like a thicker camera. The newer ones don't have that, but the batteries are supposed to last longer because it's a little bit bigger battery to begin with. And like I said, on all these cameras too, they have a port on the side for a USB. So if you're doing a longer time lapse or something else where it's stationary, you can plug this into an outlet, or you can plug it into an extended battery. Just plug it into a battery pack and let it run, and it'll just keep running. And it actually runs a little cooler than plugging it in.
Jill?
Yeah.
If somebody were just now starting with a GoPro, what model would you recommend they get as their initial GoPro?
I would splurge and get the 9.
The 9? Okay.
I mean, it kind of depends. Are you more interested in taking like the 360-degree videos? Like if I lived in Colorado, I'd probably go run out and buy the Max, just because I would be out hiking and skiing in the mountains and stuff, and that's kind of cool. But the 9, it captures just as well. It captures bigger pictures. I love all the touch screen stuff.
Yeah.
These, for those of us that wear glasses and have a hard time, like I'm just getting my eyes, I hate that I have to wear glasses now. I'm joining the glasses club. This is hard to manipulate and see because it's so tiny. The print on here is tiny. And all the menus, you had to push one button and then another button and then another button on the side. The touch screen is much easier. You're just, going around tapping and hitting the menus. It's bigger, brighter, easier to see. So I would go for, they still sell the 7 and the 8. Those run a little cheaper and you get a lot of the same advantage. The 8 is pretty similar to the 9. One of the things is the lens, it doesn't remove. People were irritated about that. I think the battery life, they say, isn't as good, but there's still several versions. You can even still buy mine. I mean, if you wanted like a cheap way to get into one, you can still buy these 4s. It's a great little camera. And then, 5, 6, 7s, and 8s. They're still all out there and still available. There's nothing wrong with them. I just really like, for the ease of being able to see at night and just being able to see period and setting up all the menus. And it has presets now. These don't have presets on them. So you can set up presets like you can on your DSLR. So you've already got whatever you're going to do, cinematic or night or whatever. You just go in and punch that instead of having to do all the settings at preset, and you're done. So I think it's a pretty useful feature as well.
Jill, what's the difference between the price of your camera now and the new ones?
I think mine was actually $399 when I bought it, because I got a $100 gift card that I won at work. And so I thought, well, $299 for my birthday. I think I bought it for my birthday. I think it was around the fall. But these were right around $400 too.
Where are they now?
It was, what did I say a while ago? $349 or $349
With that same camera?
for this one.
Yeah.
No, I think I was trying to find one. I think it was like $200 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe even
So you
cheaper.
get the latest and greatest for another $200 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or $100 with a discount.
Yeah, I mean it's $100 off right now. I think part of that's Christmas, part of that's GoPro just trying to get people to sign up for their cloud service.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got the Hero 5, and that's first one right above yours. It's got the video screen.
Yeah.
And I thought you can get a really good price on those, and that can kind of get you started. But you can use the video on the back of it. It was a big improvement. I thought that was like a quantum jump from the 4 for me.
It really is. I'm so glad that they've gone to doing that. You know, they started out, like I said, with the plug-in LCD that you could plug on, but it was a real battery eater, so you didn't really want to use it much. I never ended up buying one. I always thought about buying it, but I just never did. So yeah, I would definitely, if you're looking to just get one to play with, get one of the cheaper versions. You don't need a big fancy version. If you're not gonna go out and do a lot of that stuff that
extreme sports.
Well, that's the thing that when I was doing this presentation, that's kind of what I was thinking about, because I know we're not like an extreme sports group, but it's really not. People do it with their grandkids. They'll hand it to their grandkids. They do it, like I said, people will put a bolt through a stick and throw it for their dog. I mean, they're throwing the camera and the stick all out together. And you get these fun videos of, the dog, and it's the side view of what the dog sees, or it's looking back at the dog. You're like getting your own video of the dog, but it's really not. I mean, you get in swimming pools with kids, like I was talking about East End Park. You could go do a really cool 3D video walking through East End Park. There's a lot of like sunrise and sunset time sets. I know we all like taking sunrise, sunset pictures, right? We're all trying to get them. So you can just, if you're out there taking pictures anyway, just set your GoPro up and capture the time lapse while you're taking the picture.
Yeah, Jill, I remember in 2016 from your presentation, you highlighted time lapse.
Yeah.
Photography. You set the thing on a tripod, set it up, and I think you did it in front with a hummingbird feeder, and then as I recall, up at your ranch or farm, showed them building an extension onto your barn or something.
Yeah, it was me and my dad. We put the roof, we replaced the roof on it. That was some of the stuff, I mean, we were going to try to show again tonight.
That was neat stuff.
So we may have to revisit maybe sometime when all this crazy stuff's over and we can get set back up in a room with a computer.
Yeah, we'll do that.
The time lapse is really cool. I wanted one. I was going to show the video that kind of made me want one. I think the date on it's 2012, but I don't think I saw it in 2012. But I'd lived in Colorado for a while and snowboard and mountain climb, and I always wanted, I wish somebody could take. I'm the same way. I wish somebody could take my picture doing this cool stuff. And so I was so excited when these came out. And so, I'm not like by any means a pro photographer with the GoPro, but it is fun to just, put it on your helmet and get cool pictures of yourself doing cool things. But it doesn't have to be anything extreme by any means. During Hurricane Harvey, I put it on my front of my truck and drove around my dad's neighborhood just to get a view of how tall all the stuff was on the roads. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be this extreme thing. Like Emily, I think about you when you go kayaking, you see these kayak fishers, they set up these GoPros on their boats and they just let them run videos while they're fishing all day long. Like if you're out taking pictures, you could just get a really cool montage video of you paddling out and throw in some of your still photos you took, and then, just that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to necessarily be all of us out trying to break our necks, trying to kill ourselves doing extreme things, My son likes it, and I hand it to him, and it's just funny to watch, him walk around looking at it and stuff like that. We were hiking in Colorado, he wanted to do it, so I just handed it to him, let him walk around with it. So extreme sports are what sold this and what got it really going, and because of everybody's excitement to post what they're doing on YouTube, but it's not necessarily a showstopper for anybody wanting to buy one. It takes great pictures.
My son used to run his on his racing cart.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who race cars, even amateurs have 2 or 3 of them actually on their cars.
Yeah. And they've used them in movies. They did it's called Hardcore Henry. I tried to watch some of it. It was a little too much, but the whole movie is shot with like the camera mounted here, you never see the guy. You just always see what he's doing and where he's going. They used him in that movie, The Martian, with Matt Damon. They actually showed him, you know, showed the camera, showed him talking to him, but they also used the footage from the camera in the movie itself. So, you know, they're popular in a lot of different ways. But
my son and his friends really like the replacement thing on it, because when they come flipping off the go-kart down the track, they could get it replaced for free.
Yep. And I saw these, you know, get my son Hot Wheels, so this was kind of something fun. I was going to show. I don't know if it'll. Let's see if I can get it in front of me. You get that? There it goes. So Hot Wheels actually put out a little car. It's like a little cart that'll hold your GoPro camera.
Really?
There's GoPro videos out on YouTube of people that have set out like Hot Wheels tracks out on the beach for like really long, hundreds of feet, and then they put their GoPro on these and run them around. So I mean, it's built.
I've seen people put them on their HO and Lionel gauge trains too.
Yeah.
Run it through their train layout.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, it's like anything you can think of. It's I wanted to show you guys, so you know, everybody went out and kind of took pictures of the big boy train last year, and I took a big heavy plate and put a bolt through it, and I put my GoPro on it, and I set it on the tracks and let the train run over the top of it. I found out later that if the train guys had seen that, they would have taken my GoPro. But I got a really cool shot of the train just coming right over, the whole train just running over my GoPro. We went out to a couple of other places, and I got dropped off at one place. I think my dad went to one place, and Connie went to one place. And I took this magnetic mount, and I was on one of the bridges over the road, and I just stuck my camera there. So I got this really cool up close video of the train coming by as it came across this bridge on the road.
I've seen some guys where they actually take and put them on those little model rockets.
Yeah, shoot them up.
On those, shoot them up.
Yeah.
There was a video of a GoPro that fell out of a plane, flew, you know, settled all the way, and then a hog actually or something, some animal decided to eat it.
Yeah. I was going to show you guys a fun video to kind of cheer everybody up and get you in the Christmas spirit. It's a stuffed reindeer head, but it's from the back of it, and they send it up in space, so it's like Santa's coming with his reindeer.
Oh, cool.
And I found that I was going to show that for fun too.
Well, Jill, this has been really, really interesting. I have a feeling there'll be a few GoPros and stockings this year. Yeah.
Well, let's get the like the list of some of these videos circulating out. You can go on GoPro's website. A lot of those their videos are on that. If you click on each camera, there's portions of the same video are on there. But check it out. I mean, anything you can think of, just say whatever the activity is, and then say GoPro, and I guarantee you somebody has done something with that activity with a GoPro.
Amazing.
I have one.
I'll put your videos up on the website and send out a link to everybody.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I had one question from last month, Jeremy Willits. What would this GoPro do with your storm chasing?
Hey, Jeremy.
It would definitely add a different element. You could leave it out in the rain while you're sitting in the van waiting for the storm to pass. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you, like, you know, you can mount it to a heavy plate too. I mean, if some tornado came over or something, if you mount it in the right place, it could survive that if it was bolted down to something, you know. But it's just
absolutely,
you know, anything you think of.
I know Reed Timmer, who's a big storm chaser, he uses those all the time and mounts them to heavy structures for
interesting
same purpose.
I think, so we have a varmint cam at our farm. We've set it up on the bridge, and we get like, well, the hogs don't come across the bridge, but we get them in the pasture, but we get coyotes, and we've seen a bobcat and always raccoons and stuff. And I always thought that it would be cool to set my GoPro out there, you know, and just to see. I think it would even take a better picture than the camera traps that people set out.
Yeah.
It's just the battery life isn't as long as those camera traps are. Those batteries last for weeks, whereas this is going to last you like a couple hours.
Well, you could probably use it as a webcam too, because webcam's pretty hard to get right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that is one of the new features on the new cameras. They've made it where it can be a webcam now.
Okay. Well, are there any more questions? We probably need to let Jill go, and we've still got Share and Learn to go through, and we'd like 15 minutes or 10 minutes break for everyone to get up.
Okay. Good
Is that
idea.
approved? Yeah. Jill, thank you so much. It was excellent talk. We
Sure.
really appreciate it. And if we have any questions, we can send them through your parents and they'll forward them to you.